All right, do you want the cold, hard facts about illegal immigration in the UK? Well, buckle up, because this is going to sting. Let's start by talking about Giorgia Meloni, Italy's Prime Minister, of course. She's just achieved the lowest illegal immigration figures in Italy since January 2022. That's right, Meloni has slashed illegal immigration by a staggering 59% in just 1 year. 66,000 migrants landed in Italy during that year. And how did she do it? Well, the EU say it was by spending cold, hard cash, funding, training and equipping Tunisian and Libyan coast guards to stop the boats before they even set sail. And let's not forget, Italy is managing the Mediterranean Sea, a body of water so vast it makes our English Channel look like a puddle. But let's turn back to the UK, shall we? That short stretch between Dover and Calais, well, more migrants crossed into Britain than Italy, with over 67,500 of them. And that's after we threw 500 million at the French border force to supposedly keep us safe. And for what? More crossings, more chaos, and more failure. But here's the killer stat. Between December and January, Italy had just 478 arrivals by sea. And the UK, well, we had a jaw-dropping 3,254. That's a 580% difference. So are Libyan coast guards genuinely more effective than the highly trained, well-equipped and extremely well-funded French coast guards? In further stark contrast, Trump has vowed to launch the largest deportation program in American history, starting on his first day in office tomorrow. The scope of his deterrence is staggering, with an estimated 11 million undocumented migrants and asylum seekers in the US. It's going to be a big job, but I think there's only one man for it. Where's the will? Where there's a will, there's a way, right? But this constant failure to grasp the illegal migration issue is leading to more and more questions and less answers from our government. Disturbingly, all of this news comes at a time when Deputy Prime Minister Angela Rayner is seriously considering scrapping voter ID rules and potentially exploring granting voting rights to foreign nationals. This raises even more extremely uncomfortable questions for our government, doesn't it? And of course, Elon Musk has gone as far to suggest that Keir Starmer is importing voters, but I possibly couldn't comment. But let's get the thoughts of my panel. We have the head of communications at the popular conservatism brand, Annuncia Rees-Mogg, fitness expert and journalist dubbed the Green Goddess, Diana Moran, and former Labour Special Advisor, Paul Richards. Annuncia, I'll start with you. Look, we've pledged £500 million to the French Coast Guard. The Libyans and the Tunisians are cutting this illegal migration crisis over in North Africa towards Italy by a staggering 69%. What is it? Is it the French Coast Guards being absolutely incompetent, or are we just spaffing money up the wall?
No, I think we have to look at why people want to go to Italy or come here. And we are giving illegal migrants great incentives to come, that you get a hotel, you don't get detained. It's not a punitive way of life. There are benefits available, food allowances, mobile phones, free dentistry, so on and so forth. And Meloni has done an immense job of making it pretty unpleasant to arrive in Italy. And funnily enough, if it's not a nice place to go, people don't want to come.
Yeah, so Paul, it's that deterrence, isn't it? You know, a lot of illegal immigrants seem to think that we're the sort of benefits Britain. They're going to come here, they're going to get a hotel, they might get, extra cash for whatever they need throughout the week. They get a hot meal. That's more than some homeless veterans are getting from our government.
I live in a town where we have some of these, or had some of these hotels. They are not feather-bedded. They are not nice three-star hotels. They're pretty grim. They get a tiny amount of money each day. And, of course, crucially, they're not allowed to go out and work and earn money and pay taxes and be part of society. So, and they're lumped together day after day. It's not an easy option at all in Insiata. I know you're about to say that it is.
The hotels they've taken in Skegness are the ones that our British tourists pay good money to go to, but can't go to because they've all been taken over.
Well, I've said before,
by
we need
illegal
to,
immigrants.
that's why we need to...
so disgusting, they would have gone out of business a long time ago.
That's why I think we need to go after the hoteliers who are profiteering.
But the hoteliers are being paid by the government. Surely this is just good
I
business,
know.
right? Like,
well,
why would you not accept that?
I think they're profiteering, and I think actually they should be taxed on that because they're just making a lot of millions of pounds out of other people's misery.
Yeah, but then we're taxing money that the government has also just paid out of the coffers.
We need to
add it to the government's bill and make.
We need to remove
higher.
that business model where you could just empty your hotel, your struggling hotel, just fill it full of people and get money off the state.
Hotels, they
the ones I'm talking about
are business, because obviously tourism in this country is seasonal. And most people don't want to go to.
They're profiteering. They're profiteering. You know they are.
Diana, I want to bring you into this. I mean, look, Elon Musk has said Keir Starmer's importing voters. Do you agree with that?
It could be that he's doing that, but certainly just going back to the hotel business, I visit Somerset, which I know you're from, and various other parts, and these beautiful hotels are not able to take holiday makers just at the moment. It seems so wrong to me that the ordinary man in the street who's working as hard as he can do wants to take his family off on a holiday and he can't because all of these immigrants are in the hotel. And, of course, the standard of the hotel is going down all the time.
Paul, surely, look, I mean, if Maloney can do it in the Mediterranean Sea, what is it that's stopping us? Because it's a tiny stretch of water.
It's not tiny. That's the whole point. I've heard people like
to the Mediterranean Sea.
I've heard people from Reform Party, for example, saying, "Oh, just put the Royal Navy into the English Channel somehow." It's a vast amount of space that you can't police in that way. What you have to do is what the government is trying to do, which is to disrupt the gangs before the boats get anywhere near the ocean. If you can stop the boats going anywhere near the sea, then you might stand a chance.
Paid money over there to the French to stop the gangs from putting them on the boats.
And smashing the gangs has thoroughly failed already.
Illegal
immigration via the Channel is up over 20% just since Labour
So are
elected.
deportations, though. The deportations rates are the highest ever. You'll accept that?
A deterrent, whether you like
wasn't
it or
a deterrent.
It was shown
wasn't
to be
a deterrent
before it even started. It was
cost millions and didn't work.
And numbers have gone through the roof. Some gangs might be smashed, but the thing is, it is a tetra. It has another head that will crop up elsewhere.
A hydra?
Well, that's what we're seeing, isn't it?
Thank you.
That's what we're seeing in Annunciata. We're seeing reports that even though Maloney has smashed some of the gangs, so to speak, in the North African part of the world, they're just moving. They're just moving around. They're going through Turkey now.
Money is very attractive.
What is the answer?
Well, the question is...
Because I think smashing the gangs is a good start, but if there's a better idea, let's hear it.
We do have to do it, but surely there's got to be more we can do.
And each government...
You've got to scrap the incentive of people to, A, risk their lives.
Make the country terrible, so nobody wants to come here.
12 months on record.
I mean, the Tories did try that.
Dying in the Channel, and we should think of their lives and their well-being. We should scrap the attractiveness of risking life and paying criminals money.
That means smash the gangs, though. That's what smashing the gangs is.
Diana, to stop the boats coming across, they must see the boats leaving the French shore.
Well, Diana, do you think that the incentive is just too high for illegal immigrants to come in? Do you think, why on earth would they not want to come to the UK? Because it seems to me like we are the softest touch in Europe.
I would agree with you. They've got money when they come here. They've got food immediately. They've got a bed. They've got, when you
priority
look at...
NHS?
No.
Yes, that's true.
No, they do not get priority.
Private.
They get,
in some cases, they're getting private doctors. Yes, they are. We saw
they
that
get
in Altrincham,
the same access to the NHS as everybody else.
They do not get a priority.
They
are.
They
in Altrincham in Manchester.
Based on need.
Even said it. Well, that's still a priority access pool.
And what's the alternative to giving them food, letting them starve?
Even when you come to the studios here, we come past certain areas. I'm not going to point them out now.
Yes, I know which ones you mean.
And the tentage is there with perhaps...
Well, that's not a hotel then, is it? That's people living in tents.
Or are these English people who are having to live in the tents?
No, they're not.
Well, Annunciata, we do have a massive homelessness crisis in the UK. Should we not be spending these billions that we're spending on illegal migrants on them first before we look for charity elsewhere?
Of course, we should be looking after our own before we try and solve the rest of the world's problems.
Yes.
But most of these migrants are economic migrants. We have people in this country who are struggling and who are suffering, and our money and our taxpayer funds should go towards them. We have to make sure our own people are OK before we can rescue the whole world.
Right, Annunziata, I absolutely agree with you, but unfortunately that's all we've got time for in this first half. But my panel's going to be back later, as you all know.